The life of Samson, the strongest man that ever lived. The Bible tells us about many great men of faith who became heroes of God, like Abraham, Moses, and David. But there's one man in particular that I've always been fascinated with, and that is Samson. He was the strongest man that ever lived, and his strength was given to him by an act of God. One time he single-handedly defeated 1,000 Philistines, ripping them to pieces like a lion and eating them like honey. Come. The Bible says that when he was born, an angel appeared to his parents and told them that their son would be a Nazirite. That means he would be separated from his hair because it was dedicated to God. And so they had to keep his hair long for his entire life. Samson grew up in this Nazirite vow, and once he came of age, he went out into the world to see what God would do through his life. One day while he was traveling, he saw a beautiful woman named Delilah, and he fell head over heels in love. Now, if you're familiar with the story of Samson and Delilah, you probably already know that she ended up betraying him and shaving off his hair, which led to his great weakness and his eventual downfall. But the thing that fascinates me about this story isn't just that. It's the fact that Delilah didn't just betray Samson, but she tricked him multiple times. She was able to trick Samson not once, not twice, but 3 times, before he finally realized that she was using him. So today I want to talk about these 3 tricks that Delilah used against Samson to see if we can learn something from them. Because I think her behavior reveals something very important about how women work, and I think it could help us men avoid falling for tricks like these in our own relationships. So let's jump right into it. Trick number 1, playing the innocent. In Judges chapter 16, we read about how Delilah was scheming with the lords of the Philistines. They were willing to pay her a lot of money if she could figure out the secret of Samson's great strength. Now, before this point in the story, Delilah hadn't really done anything to harm Samson, but things were about to change, and the first way that she tried to get him was by playing the innocent. She acted like she didn't know why everyone else was afraid of Samson, and she pretended that she didn't care about his strength at all. She said, "How can you say such things? Surely my love is worth more than all your riches. Isn't it better for you to tell me what troubles you than to keep laughing at me? What am I, that you should speak so mysteriously?" Notice how she acts puzzled and even offended that Samson was hesitant to share things with her. He felt that his strength was a gift from God, and he feared that if the Philistines found out about it, they would try to kill him or use him as a weapon. But Delilah made him feel guilty for hiding things from her. She suggested that his love for her must be stronger than his fear of the Philistines. And by doing so, she opened up his heart and his mind to the idea that maybe he could trust her. This is a trick that women have been using since the beginning of time. They pretend to be totally uninterested in a man's status or power or money. They act like those things aren't important to them at all, and instead, they make it seem like it's only the man that's being selfish and self-centered for thinking those things are important. What women are really doing here is that they are pretending to be uninterested in those things so they can lure a man into a false sense of security. Once they make you feel like those things don't matter, then they will use that same logic against you later on. If they're able to convince you that your wealth doesn't matter to them, then they can also convince you that it's wrong to use your wealth to take care of them. Or if they're able to make you believe that your status doesn't matter to them, then they can also make you feel guilty for trying to use that status to protect them. Basically, women use this trick to get a man to reveal his true feelings and motivations without being direct about it. They pull these strings around him and they watch how he reacts. Then they use his reaction to manipulate him into doing what they want him to do. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where a woman seems uninterested in your status or your wealth or your power, just remember that she might be pretending. She might be using this trick to test you and see if she can manipulate you. So don't fall for it. Stay sharp and always be aware of the potential motives a woman may have. Now, After this conversation, Samson still didn't trust Delilah, but she kept on pursuing him until he gave in to her advances. After they slept together, she started hinting that she might be working with the Philistines, and she started testing him to see if he was going to get angry or violent. And this brings us to the second trick that Delilah used against Samson. Trick number 2, testing his temper. Delilah started to realize that Samson was a hothead. He had a very quick temper, and he wasn't afraid to use it. Whenever he got angry, he could destroy everything around him. And so she started to poke fun at him in order to provoke him and see how far she could push him. In Judges, chapter 16, verse 5, it says, "Later, she began to annoy him. 'You lovers of Samson,' she taunted. 'Israel's God is he who has handed me my husband over to your hands.' The truth was she was getting tired of being just a mistress. She wanted to become Samson's wife, and she wanted to become his keeper too. So notice how she's saying that Samson's God handed her over to him. She's implying that Samson is weak and powerless, and that his God doesn't even care about him. She was trying to trigger Samson's anger, and she knew exactly what to say in order to do it. Women like to test a man's temper for 2 reasons. First, they want to know if he has any self-control or if he's just a big baby that loses it at the slightest little thing. And second, they want to see if he's willing to use his strength to defend himself and others. A woman wants to know that the man she's with is capable of handling difficult situations. She wants to know that he's not going to back down in the face of danger. A woman also wants to know that the man she's with is mature enough to control his emotions. She doesn't want to be with a man who throws a tantrum every time things do not go his way. Samson failed both of these tests. He showed no self-control, and he couldn't protect himself. If you ever find yourself in a situation where a woman keeps poking fun at you or trying to trigger you, just remember that she's testing you to see if you're made of strong stuff. Don't fall for her games. Stay calm and collected and show her that you're not going to be pushed around. Now, after realizing that Samson was a hothead, Delilah decided to play her last card. This is the third and most important trick she used against Samson. Trick number 3, wearing him down slowly. At this point in the story, Delilah was completely sure that Samson was just a big baby. She knew that he was unwilling to stand up for himself, and she knew that he wouldn't be able to handle the pressure of the Philistines attacking him. So she slowly started wearing him down over a period of several months. She kept asking him to tell her how he got his strength, and each time he refused, he would make up some excuse about why he couldn't tell her. This made Delilah angry, and it made her realize that she would never be able to dominate him unless she could break him down mentally. So she changed her strategy. She started pleading with Samson to tell her his secret, and she promised that she would never tell anyone if he did. She told him how much she loved him and how much she trusted him, and she begged him to open up to her about his past. She wore him down until he finally told her the truth about his Nazirite vow and how it gave him strength. And as soon as she heard this, she immediately ran to the Philistine lords and told them about it. When Samson woke up the next morning, he realized that he had been tricked. His hair had been shaved off, and his strength had vanished. And this is where Delilah's final trick comes in. You see, after Samson's strength had disappeared, Delilah was no longer interested in him. She had only loved him for his power and his status, and now that he was just an ordinary man, she didn't care about him anymore. So she left him and went to live with one of the Philistine lords. Now, in this situation, Samson had 2 options. He could either let Delilah's betrayal destroy him and end his life, or he could use this experience as a chance to grow and become even stronger than before. Samson chose to let Delilah destroy him, and that's why the story has such a sad ending. But I think that this part of the story teaches us a valuable lesson about relationships. A woman may enter your life claiming to love you and care about you, but in reality, she only wants what she can get from you. Sometimes a woman may only love you for your status or your wealth or your power, and once those things are gone, she won't care about you anymore. It's important to be aware of this and not let it catch us off guard. So remember, brothers, when a woman is trying to wear you down, slowly but surely, when she's wearing you down with her tears and her pleading and her endless complaining, don't fall for it. Stay strong and don't let her negativity drag you down. Be aware of her tricks and don't let her win. And that's all I have for you today, brothers. If you got value from this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Until next time.